So I saw recently that there's a new Star Wars game coming out, and it has like a base edition that costs $70, and of course there's like different editions because we do that now. And there's a collector's edition that's $130. And recently Diablo 4 came out, really similar. The pre-order versions where it's an extra $20, $30 to play like 3 days early, and sometimes these are like mostly like single player experiences or very scaled down. So there's not the same reason to pre-order a game, like in a time where we no longer have physical copies, where we have to like go down to the store and actually get a copy of the game and like preload it onto the system. Where these are just digital copies, so like the idea of pre-ordering doesn't even make sense anymore, unless it's like a really small project and you want to support it on Kickstarter or something, like a crowdfunded project. But it's insane, the idea of paying for like just slightly early access, or having paid betas for these ginormous like game projects. And like of course, it would be interesting to kind of talk about like how we got to the big scale, like big cost games, because they are very expensive to make, and there's a reason for that. But instead of getting into that right now, I would actually rather talk about smaller feature complete games that just don't have the huge like scope that a lot of the current big triple A, quadruple A, oh that was ridiculous, releases. Okay. So let's go let's go back in time, I don't know, last year, to a time when really small teams were able to make really fun, solid, feature complete narrative games that made narrative sense, right? So, obviously, like the best example of this is Vampire Survivors. It was made by less than 10 people, and four of them are composers. Like, so it's just a really fun, solid experience. You just you know, like you get in, you everything makes intuitive sense. The gameplay's fun and engaging, and you don't ever you don't ever feel like your time's being wasted. You don't ever wonder why something's missing or how something works. You never tab out to read a wiki. It's not complicated. You get in and you play, and it's fun and it's solid. And it was like $3. you know I mean, like, and it was, it was just such a, like, just like, how does this exist, right? So, not to be outdone, one guy made HoloCure, which is like Vampire Survivor but for like VTubers. It's free, like completely free on Steam. And it's Vampire Survivors. There's like a like housing area. There's like a fishing mini game. There's like little alternate outfits to collect. Everything like is in there. It's like ridiculously well done. Like, it doesn't make sense why it's such a good game. And one guy made it as a passion project for free. It's just on Steam. Like, just a fan of VTubers. It's an amazing thing. I'm not saying that games should be free. I'm just saying that, like, um, I don't, the game shouldn't be like 80 or $100 in broken trash. So like, another example that comes to mind is Don't Starve, right? Just a very simple, fun game, and it started out with two developers at a game jam. They like they made what Somebody Goes to Pigtown, right? With they just made like this fun little proof of concept, like over the course of a week, and it turned into a tentpole franchise for Killily. And that's really great to see. So another one like, a classic Portal. Portal was made with a team of less than 10 people. I mean, it was made by Valve and like, you know, before they were like the monolith that controlled Steam, the literal gatekeeper of all my games. Well, I mean, GOG is amazing. I really prefer their their business practices, but it's a very slow, tedious process to rebuy my games on GOG to, because I want to get them on sale. I'm buying them for a second time. I don't know. It's important to support developers, but I don't want to get too far out of what I'm trying to say. So, Portal was made by less than 10 people. Just a great experience. Like, it was such an interesting concept that I just had not seen before. Jonathan Colton did the music, and, like, he's like just really cool nerd rock guy. I still get Still Alive in my head every now and then. Just a really iconic song. Um, let's see. The original Fallout was supposedly a B project that was made by like 15 developers at first. Just sort of a, you know, just just a kind of side project. That's crazy to think about what it's become since then. Because like I couldn't find a solid number of how many people worked on Fallout 2, but like once Fallout 3 went to Bethesda, 80 people worked on 3, 100 people worked on 4. I don't even know how many people have worked on 76. Fallout New Vegas was supposedly made with a team of like 60, but there was some outsourcing because there was a big time crunch. Um, Another series that like I really liked, um, most things made by BioWare. They're just a studio that I just thoroughly enjoyed games by them. And they're a good example of of like the creep over time of like scope and expectations. I don't know if it's internal expectations with the studios of the kinds of games that they're producing, or if it's fans, having more demands or more choices, and people are, it's hard to know why it's happening. But like, Jade Empire was made by like a team of 70, which, is big with the scope of what I'm talking about now, but like it's not crazy for like a game development studio. KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic 1 was made by a team of like 75. Knights of the Old Republic 2 supposedly was made by a team of only 30, which is just crazy because, it's debatable if people liked KOTOR 1 or 2 more. Um, let's see. Mass Effect 1 was made by a team of 130. Mass Effect 2 was made by a team of 150. Mass Effect 3 was made by a team of 150. And then 200 people in like different studios in different parts of the world worked on Andromeda, and they were pulling people off of it to like work on what would become later Anthem at the same time. And I remember like when I was playing Andromeda, I've played a lot of like SWOTOR, like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO, which was made by like 660 people. Like but it's an MMO. The scope's way bigger, and that's kind of my point. Like I still would treasure that game if it were just a single player offline experience because, anytime I've ever recommended it to anybody, I've recommended that they play through the class stories, which are great. They play through the DLC stories, which are great, and they, make a value decision on their money and time if they want to stick around for the MMO elements because that's just not that's just never been BioWare's strong suit. I I don't wish ill will, um, on things, but I am glad that Anthem completely failed because like I can't speak for like all BioWare fans, but I didn't ask for Anthem. Like I loved Mass Effect Andromeda's combat. It was like fun. There was some really great gunplay. Like of all the Mass Effects, it was like the most fun, solid experience, and it would have been cool to play that more in Anthem. But that's not what I that's not what I play BioWare games for. Like you know, no one asked for Anthem, and no one plays it. So, um, you know, um, and Dragon's Age was made by 180 people, and and then I don't have the numbers for Dragon Age 2 or 3. And I don't know how many people are working on 4, sorry, but like it's scaled up in team size as well. Um and you know Bethesda games, like 40 people made Morrowind, 70 people made Oblivion, 100 people made Skyrim, which just blows my mind. But 250 people worked on Starfield supposedly, and it's like it's not better. like, you know, like I've put like hundreds, if not thousands of hours into Skyrim over the years since it's been out, and I've watched lots of little developer talks, and I've seen lots of like videos discussing it and everything, because like I just it's a game I've spent like a lot of time in and thinking about, and just most of the Bethesda games, like that's what it's like for me. But I what I've thought was really interesting about Skyrim is I was watching this one video, and I can't remember if it was No Clip or if it was somebody else, but there would be like one guy, and he's like, he made the giants, right? And then he modeled the giants after his dad, and like showed a picture of his dad, and it was so charming because it's like, oh wow, I can see the resemblance, and that's really sweet, and that's a cool element. And there was a different guy that that decided that he wanted to have ants moving around on a tree stump, because he thought if the players see the ants moving around, it sells like the idea that like the world is living and breathing. And you if you see that, your mind goes to more like, oh, there's like this entire ecosystem and everything, right? There was a different guy that sorry, I'm flustered. Um there was one girl who just was doing the trailer, and she decided, instead of just a normal gameplay trailer, what she was going to do is just go in and explore a cave and just record her experience, and it like really really sold the idea of the game. There was a different guy. Oh, I thought of it, sorry. There was a different guy who made the decision that he was going to motion capture, like for like the combat and stuff. And I I think it's really cool, even with like a scope of 100 people, that like these people had their one little pet thing that made it into the game and made the game really special. And I honestly think like smaller teams, how the individual people on the team have more of a say, and like more of like their fingerprints on the project. Um and I think, like, games that I really love, it's because when you're playing them, you can find little elements and little touches that were kind of like hallmarks of the people working on it really loving the game. Like, it feels like, somebody fought to have this in here, and I appreciate it. Like, it's great seeing it. Mm. Um One studio in particular that like I don't know. CD Projekt Red and what they were able to do with the Witcher series is like it's crazy. Like, and then, they did have a bigger team for Cyberpunk, and the scope and the quality and everything that they were able to accomplish with that is amazing. Like, the game just blows me away. I don't understand how it can exist. But, while I really love Cyberpunk, I don't need it every time. Like, there's, games like Slime Rancher, you know? It was made by 12 people, only 7 of them were full time, and it's a solid experience where, you go in, you collect slimes, you sell their plorts, and and you go out and look for more, and you ranch slimes, right? It's a fun, solid experience. Everything's cohesive. The story makes enough sense. Like it's just exactly what I want it to be. It's a like it's a fun game that's not trying to be anything else, it's not trying to do anything else. It's just a good solid experience. The same thing is true for like coffee stain games. Goat Simulator was made like by 9 people, and it's just this fun, silly game. Like I enjoy playing it with with other people because like it's funny, and it doesn't need to be God of War to be entertaining. Not that God of War is like, again, amazing epic scope game, but I don't always need that. Not every game has to be that. And Valheim was made by like a team of 13 people, and like they had like somewhat transparent updates where they kind of involved the early access community, and and my favorite game from Coffee Stain is Satisfactory. It is just it is so like fun and interesting, and like there's not many games like it. And the watching the evolution of like what they've added each update throughout the time that I've gone back and checked in on it during early access, it has been like great. It's such a like intentionally paced and created game that keeps being exactly what the people who want to play it are asking for. And it's such a good thing when a studio is able to do that, to be in touch with the fan base and the people that are playing their game, and create an experience that they enjoy creating, the fans enjoy playing, and everybody's happy. Like I think some of the bigger games are, they're not made for anybody. They're trying to target everybody, for like everybody that has different expectations and wants, and standards. Like so they're ending up making games for nobody, like this faceless mass of a player. But they're not, it's not for like one person just buying the game, enjoying it, and waiting for the next one, like the way that some of the you know um because I don't think older games are better. I think a good game is good forever. I think that you can load up Deus Ex and still enjoy it just as much as you could when it first came out. And like different games appeal to different people or the same person at different times. Like, sometimes I feel like playing an RTS, sometimes I feel like playing an MMO, and sometimes I just want to get in like Katamari Damacy and just roll around and pick up stuff because like sometimes that's a lot of fun. Like I just enjoy a good game because it's good. It doesn't have to be anything more than it sets out to be. It just needs to do what it wants to do well. Um, and original Baldur's Gate was made by like 60 people. Baldur's Gate 3 is like amazing, and it's a good example of a game where, there's not too many cooks in the kitchen. They were able to do a lot of stuff with their big team, and maybe that's comes down to like management or something. I can't know because I'm I'm just somebody like on the absolute end, like I'm the end user. I have no real insight into the development process except for what developers have since been willing to share. You know, like um like I really enjoyed Star Wars Galaxy, and Rafe Koster that had worked on it ended up writing a book about making games. So it was really interesting to read his insight on how he came to make a game that's actually fun. Sometimes it's really nice to like listen to game developer conferences where they've got like postmortems of games and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, in general, I don't know. I don't know how games are made. I just know that the ones that I tend to really enjoy were made by like a smaller, more focused team. And um, there are a couple of like big blockbuster games that end up also happening to be good, but like I mean, like, there's actually, I mean, there's an argument for both, but I just, like, all right, let me think of some more, like one guy teams, like games that are really good and were made by like one person. Like there was like Hollow Life, obviously, Banished, one of my favorite games ever, made by one person. Braid, um, Super Meat Boy 2, or Super Meat Boy was made by two guys. Axiom Verge was made by one person. Cave Story, Papers, Please, Lone Survivor, Minecraft. Minecraft was originally made by one person. Really recently, I played a demo for a game that isn't coming out yet. It's like a little indie game called Spilled, um, where you just go around on a boat collecting oil and then selling the oil to upgrade your boat. It's made by one girl on a boat. Like she lives on a houseboat just making an indie game. And it's great to see stuff like that. Um Let me think. Stardew Valley. You know, and I don't know. I just I I still am, I still am interested in like some of the bigger games. There's still been a couple that have come out that like I've really enjoyed recently. Like Hogwarts Legacy was like really good, and it was like a big budget, like big production game that did exactly what it needed to do, and I was very happy with it. Um but you know I mean, like, Mass Effect 2 is like one of my favorite games, and it was made by a fairly large team, but um so like, I'm not saying that like um you know that I only want to play indies, or that like that you shouldn't have enough people to do everything you need to do to make a game. I'm just kind of thinking like you know there's like a lot of like Viritol between like the gamers, the customers that are like, games are getting more expensive, and they're like, there's a lot of like feature creep and bloat, and there's a lot of like, there's like that moment where you're playing something and you hit a bug, or something doesn't work, or you can't connect online to your single player game, or you have this moment of frustration where you're like, I wasted $70 on this, and like how much the value proposition of entertainment is different for everybody, but the feeling that you're wasting your money or time is kind of universal, like there's been times that I've been at a movie and thought, you know, like I'm wasting $9 in 2 hours of my time. I want to just go. Like, so, it's more about, like, I, I I was trying to think of like the last movie that I really, really enjoyed. And that's like the new D&D movie. I think it came out about a year ago. Like I saw it and like I just like minute to minute had the best time. I really enjoyed that one. Like, and I don't see movies as much anymore because like, there's been a lot that I've gone to that were just kind of like a swirly mess, and I just wasn't having a good time anymore. And I thought, is something wrong with me? Do I not I just not enjoy movies anymore? And it's like, no, I just don't enjoy um you know I think the same is kind of true for games where there's there's these big scope games where I'm like, I can feel myself wasting my own time. I'm not having fun. I'm slowly working towards a goal that I don't even care about. And I don't know for sure that that's a me problem as much, like there are some games that like I've spent a lot of time in and I don't regret a second of it. Like, I and then there's others where I just feel like, and like this is my hobby, this is my downtime. I shouldn't feel drained or frustrated by my hobby. I should be happy, I should be enjoying myself. So, like I think that's why I just tend to prefer like, smaller scope, like really fun experiences, just really solid, like feature complete games. And it's good to see that they're, that they're still around, that they're still being created. Like I try to keep an eye on indies. Like, it's a lot easier to find a good solid game made by like a smaller studio at this point. And it's a little bit encouraging that there are people from like the bigger studios that I've like enjoyed titles from in the past that have branched off and started their own studios, and I keep like kind of a lookout for those projects, just to see if like them scaling back by like starting over can create some really good experiences again. But I don't know. That's just kind of like how I feel about it. I'm sure that there's more to it than that, but I don't know. I just been thinking about it. And I don't know. What do you think? Take care.